hearing all the hubbub about this new console and stuff, and how that kind of plan is sort of going down the tubes. Walking by the SLU project, they've had to change the sidewalk itself now, because now they're probably taking out the walls that are on the sidewalk side. So it's you can't have people walking on it and stuff like that, just in case it gives out. Don't want that. Don't want old man death. No. Anyway, so I started thinking about this with. I'm in the market right now. I've on my Amazon wish list. I've put various gaming mini computers, looking through their all their what's it called? Oh, we have also duck sighting. Look at duckies in the house. So I started to sit back and be like, okay, I'm probably willing to spend this much on the machine itself, this much on various peripherals, maybe get another monitor or something, if there's like a package deal or something, and mostly wait till you see how they've sold for September, look into the November deals that'll pop up, because that's been really good. There's been things that I looked at that they've had a good deal on, like some electric lightning deals, and so I'm like, okay, I save up about this much, get a faster router. That'll be the first stage. That'll be great. Once I have that faster router, then I could get to syncing everything up, and easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's always real simple. But then from there, it's really, okay, for one, wow, they totally redid this path. This was just like a little side dirt thing. Like, there wasn't shit here. Like, it was just dirt. It was just like on the side of the road. So this is good. This is yeah. It is an impressive project. I'm actually really enjoying to see how this has been done. So far, here we go. So it's usually I'm over there. You can see the big old John Deere ladies doing the volleyball. Swing that hair, girl. Swing that hair. Yes. Oh, magic white girls. Anyway, so shouldn't say offensive things. Don't want to be offensive. So anyway, if I had to do it, I was like, okay. I looked up the machine I have now. It's lasted 5 years. I have an external read-write DVD deal. I've so I could watch movies. I could play my or CD read-write. So I could play my movies. I could enjoy some entertainment and stuff. And then from there, see all the giant robots ready to assemble into Destructicon. What was that guy's name? It's the Constructicons Devastator. That was it, Devastator. All unite into Devastator. But yeah, so they're flattening all this out. And so usually I'm over here, and so that's now the part of the wall they're starting to take out. So yeah, it looks like they're going to start taking out more and more and more of this. And because of how the ground is raised up, they probably aren't allowing it, because the sidewalk, there's just too much, it's just there's too much going on. But I mean, it looks like people are just going around it anyway and just walking along there, which is kind of funny. So now there's another detour. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, I see. This just goes across the street. Okay, that's fine. Well, this is not anywhere near as pleasant to walk. Oh, wow. Oh, no. Poor Winnie the Pooh. I'm a sad Pooh Bear. I know. I love, the old folks. The old folks are just walking. They're just going around the sign. They just don't care. It's great. Let's see here. Oh, I see. They have, got it. Okay, they have a whole little thing set up here.
Wait, yellow lights are flashing. Cross with caution.
Okay. Well, that's pretty snazzy, in fact. And this makes sense because now we're by the kids' sports facility. See, the old folks, old guys, they're just like, whatever. They want to see what's going on. Like, you can't tell me where to go. Sign everywhere, a sign. Can't tell me I'm a boomer. And so I looked at it and I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me look up my computer. Because the way that it was set up, it had like this, you would put in a hard drive, an SSD, an HDD, and it had like its own little section that went onto the bottom of the computer, and I can't believe I'm forgetting a Nest for it, and rather than you plugging it into one of the USB ports, and it didn't work, and I kind of had a feeling that it wasn't. And when people were later reviewing the computer, they said, yeah, this feature is a great idea, but it doesn't work. And so on other models they discontinued it. But I was looking it up, and it turns out it's like linked in some way to Sony and the PlayStation. At some point, they humored using mini computers. And it's this one, ACER is the company, Acer. One of those many, many, many ones. It's like the B-Link ones, or now there's a company, Geekom. Another thing, so this was my thing. I'm like, what you do is some of these firms are making these mini computers, and you come up with now 6 to 5 tiers. Tier 1, it's a mini computer, holds lots of games. You could literally, like one of these really tiny ones, you could put a lot of real simple games onto, old games, things like that. Then the next one up, this is something that it's meant for you to buy the peripherals. Maybe it comes as a package with the peripherals, and it's pretty bare bones mini computer meant to play games. Third tier up, mini computer with all the fucking bells and whistles, really cool form, a little larger as far as the size of the form. Maybe in some way, shape, or form it comes with, like 2 terabytes. I mean, like, this thing is meant to, this is the roughneck chicken. That right now, something like that with peripherals, I can get that at this point right now for somewhere between about $650 to $890. So this idea that you have then this console for the amount that this console is going for, compared to this type of mini computer with the peripherals cost put in there, it's not panning out. And so you might as well have lateral supply by doing some kind of deal with these small companies that are making these computers, because you're already Sony, you're already, whatever company, you're already going to be facing a lot of problems coming up Christmas, when a lot of these games are synced, and the associated studios keep syncing. And because the way that it is all being managed is not very creative, really. That's the issue. It's not very creative. It's being managed like you're selling shoes, and you're selling games, and it's show business in a way. So it's a different kind of thing. So something I started to think about was, if you had a deal with one of these companies, they had a name that rolls off the tongue. Ultra Games, I don't anything other than some of these strange names that these companies keep choosing. Game machines, almost anything. So you have them on Amazon.com. You don't have them on your own website. Another issue that's errant. It's a bad idea. It's bad business. You end up having this thing of, okay, so we have this company making a Steam sponsored, it has its own look, its own form to it. It is certain, maybe every tier of the machine, fifth tier of the machine is a relatively small gaming desktop. That's the fifth tier, and you, after that, you just don't go any farther than that, because beyond that point, you're competing with so many other brands. You might as well just keep what you're doing relatively simple. And so you have then this, say, the Steam Valve sponsored machine, and that machine, it looks a certain way, it has certain colors on it, a certain color scheme or whatever. Maybe comes preloaded with certain, or access to a Steam account. That's how you're trying to tie them all together. But it doesn't bind you to it. You can install like lots of different games. And then the beauty of it is everybody, all these major companies agree to a certain standard of the components that would go into those machines that has their name on them. So they no longer have to build the damn machine. All they got to do is say, no, this is the standard for the components. And then this sponsored, licensed, kind of deal helps them all the time. It's free advertising all the time. It's sales of the games all the time. And then you could get back to the intelligent thing of physical sales. That's smart to do. Why? Because people actually, if you made collector's versions of the physical sales, like that they were different on different runs of the game, the packaging was different, people would buy them just to have the different packages. That's not rational, but that's the whole point. It's not really that rational. It's psychologically important to the buyer that they're the one making the purchase. So that's I'm more and more I'm starting to really get no, apparently people that not only do they not play video games, they go out of their way apparently not to listen to what the fans say they want. And not even big crazy demands. I mean pretty simple demands. I more and more I'm rather surprised. I sit back and I'm pretty surprised. I'm like, it would seem like what would be easier is for you to do this, because then you would have made a lot more money. And this would have been something that really, you already do that. So Sony PlayStation probably has all these various subcontractors that are doing a lot of the assembly and gathering of parts. So people open up Sony PlayStations and they're like, oh, these components aren't very good, really. They say that these components are this, but you open it up and they're not. Well, that's obviously and so this is a problem that's plaguing all of these mini computer companies as well when you look at the reviews. So I started to think about that, and I was like, yeah, well, all you'd have to do really is just have in some way that enough of an investment went into a run on these that the payback is almost no way around it's going to work out. You don't have the next generation of console. You actually just have a PC that is sponsored by your company. The components are 100% what they say they're supposed to be. It's designed to play video games. You throw in a bunch of old titles, it just that are on there, or you have it on like it comes with like a chip, memory, little one of those little memory chips, that with a whole library of games, or a memory stick with a whole library of games, whatever type of media type, memory media format. But it doesn't take much now for some of these old games, like Contra or Rolling Thunder, games like that, like good old fashioned, really really fun simple games that some of those various motorcycle games and stuff. Maybe was it Tony Hawk? Put some Tony Hawk on there, like just to celebrate the old days. So you do something like that. People are like, oh my gosh, this PC, I'm never bored. And it's a PC. Because at one time there was this thing called the Sega Saturn. And the Sega Saturn was so great because there were so many things you could do with it. But the technology in the United States, in a lot of cases, hadn't caught up to the Sega Saturn yet. So I was just like, yeah, this is something you could really do with, and you all keep burying money in the consoles and their production and the marketing of them, when it's like you could just work with a company that already exists and be like, here's our idea, it's going to have this level of performance, these are the components, blah 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 blah. With the power of your own firm and theirs, you'd be able to source these things. It doesn't even have to be, that's why you have multiple tiers, and openly multiple tiers that are easy to understand. It's easy to understand. There's the one that's real tiny, easy to understand. There's the one that's, kind of just total normal. It looks like a B-Link. It just has your company colors on it or something like that. Next one up maybe comes with the ball mouse, the programmable mouse, and comes with the fucking sweet keyboard. Again, all looks like the colors of your company. There's multiple different types. Maybe, you get different, amateur artists, that are cool on the internet, to help you with it or something in the long run, or that's later runs, if it works out right. No monitor, because that's its own problem. Let people pick their own monitor. But keyboard, mouse, that's a pretty safely source those. And also, there's going to be companies that they want to be a part of this. They're like, oh, almost guaranteed sales of our fucking, Logitech, such and such and such, gaming mouse. Yes, so that's third tier. And the third tier, up from the bottom, able to really play, it plays AAA, no problem. You plug and play. It's super reliable, simple PC that somebody could have dedicated just to that terabyte. All you need is a good terabyte. And then, they could use an external for more memory. Don't make anything that people want to start fiddle-faddling inside of it, under the hood, to plug things in. If they want to break it, they that's why they bought it. But don't even try to go there. Might as well not. Fourth tier up, still the largest of the mini computers, and then the fifth one is just a small desktop. And these all already exist. It's just that there's not one company that makes it so that it's very clear, like this to this to this, next one is this, top of the line is this, because everyone's still trying to figure out how to market these machines and their performance, and how to market it to then, because somewhere at some level of marketing, there's people who are mucking it up. They're not being honest about, people who have an absolute spot where they're going to live for a while, or they have a good amount of space. They can have this type of machine, or this type of setup, or this type of footprint, because they have the space for it. But if you don't have the space for that, then you're going to need something smaller. And it also might be that they want a machine that's all it does. It just does the gaming. They have something else that does other things for them. And that's, pardon me, that's where I started thinking about this, because I started to really like walk through like when I'm looking at equipment, when I'm looking at things, I'm like, what is it that what is this plan? What is it? Well, the computer, it's 5 years old. It can handle all kinds of the applications. That's no big problem. That's no big deal. It's going to probably keep on going. If I had a machine that only dealt with Eve and Eve Vanguard, Eve Online and Eve Vanguard, and that's my plan, is that's what it does. I don't plan to stream. I don't plan none of that. And one computer could be used for anything I really need to do for them, almost anything else. And then I was like, yeah, as long as I had a Windows tablet, or a Chrome tablet again, that I could, fiddle-faddle with Chrome things and Google accounts and stuff like that, then I'm set. Sort of my Google machine. I needed my little Google machine, and I'm set. And these are very simple devices, and then with the cell phone is the personal computer I always have on myself. This is because of what I use computers for. I don't really need something incredibly hardcore, rugged, and raw like you never saw before. That is this huge screen thing, gigantic 50-pound deal or 20-pound deal that I'm going to have like taking up a lot of room and blowing heat all over the place. Like, I don't need that. Other people might need a very hardcore machine. But it was just something I started to think about, because it seems like there's not the understanding of how simple some guys like their setups, and how they'll buy the games. They might be much more casual than what they buy. They buy something hardcore, but they're pretty casual, or that they use low tech but they're hardcore. They play all the time. What the hell? Play all the time, but they're relatively casual. What the fuck? Oh wow. Okay. Talk to you soon.